Jim, look at Dominic's background screen. He's kind of like phasing in and out.
Is it kind of being all weird?
Yeah, you just
It,
got your transparency thing going, so you got your ghost
yeah,
filter on.
your ghost form's
It's
up
got.
there.
Your
I
floating
might
head.
join in real life then. That's kind of annoying.
It's
I'll
all
be
good.
back.
Hey, well let's get started here. Top of the hour here. Sounds like a radio DJ. Top of the hour. This is the Q&A with Jim and Jim, but it's more of just a BS session on what's going on in your self-storage world. Uh, Questions, comments, whatever's been going good, horror stories, whatever. We're here for it. Uh, Might be a little light today with attendance because of the SSA show going down in Orlando, which is wrapped up. And Jim's here. He's actually at the airport right now, so I'm glad you're able to make the time and jump on, Jim.
I thought about changing my flight this morning, but it wouldn't have given me enough time to get home and to get to my house to turn the computer on. So I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna keep my original flight and deal with the rush hour traffic when I get to Baltimore. So,
So that's the worst. How?
but I did have a lot of people say that they want to hop on next time. So, like Terry Campbell and James from National Painting Company, and a lot of people at the conference are like, you guys are doing that? Yeah, we had last night dinner. Jessica Lammer from World Insurance said I want to come on, and so got some,
Nice.
hopefully some traction coming to us. So,
So you
they're
gotta
like,
give
what
us.
do you? Yeah,
Go.
they said, what do you talk about? I said, anything and everything.
We're storage nerds, so yeah, whatever comes up. So
Yeah,
give me a little synopsis. How was it?
it was really good. I thought it was a well attended spring show. Sometimes spring shows are a little light. I thought it went well. Dave Cooper and I did the manager set summit on Wednesday, 2 hour session, and we had about 85, 90 people in the room. And Jim, the best thing for me is both Dave and I experienced this yesterday. People stopped us on the trade show floor and said that our session was worth the admittance to the entire show.
Sweet.
So, and
That's,
it
I
was
mean,
kind of cool because we were.
that's an extra charge, right? To go to that
Oh
workshop.
yeah, it is. It is.
Awesome.
So we had a lot of slides, a lot of technology, a lot of reporting, and one of the interesting ones I thought was really cool is we've all been talking about leads are down, leads are down. Everybody's sky's falling, right? Well, I work with Go Local, and John Jordan helped me give me some statistics. And 24 versus 23 inquiries are down, 24, 20, the whole nine. But if you
Yeah.
compare 24 to 2019, actually our inquiries were up by like 0.25%. So they were kind of flat. But
Huh.
to me, that's a good sign.
No, I'll take flat versus going down.
Yeah. So, but we talked about length of stays and average customer. And it was funny because we did the same thing. I know Shannon won't be on it because she's traveling today, but we talked about who still has an answer machine in their office. Like 5 or 6 hands went up. And I talked to the one guy. I said, what's your length of stay? He goes, I don't know. So we figured out, we run rough numbers. We said $100, $1,500 value. I said, so if I said you give me $500 and I'll give you $1,500 every month, would you take it? He said, absolutely. I'm like, well, then why won't you hire a call center? Because if you miss that one rental or 2 rentals a month because of the call center,
Sure.
you're losing that money. So I think we had a few people stop by at our booth and talk to them. We had a few people talk about the marketing, and it was a really good session on Jeff Greenberger did a really good one about rules and regulations about what you should have and what you shouldn't have on there. The keynote was pretty good. Michael Schwartz from Safe Stop or Source, what somebody is, but it was just good networking with people, catching up with people, seeing what's going on. I mean, it's funny because I sat with, Ken Finley from Sugar Upset, Safeguard in Florida, old public storage guy.
I don't.
Okay. So Ken and I were sitting there this morning at breakfast chat, and Ken said, I got more out of this show just walking around talking to other colleagues, sharing data than I had the last 3 shows. He goes, I'm energized. So, and that's what I said. When you leave this thing, if you don't go away with knowledge and a few nuggets of information, I mean, what were you here for? But I mean, realistically, Ken and I were talking this morning about just certain things we're doing on our website with value pricing and the recommended levels of protection plans. So I showed him numbers for the first 8 days of my March. We had 18 online rentals. 55% of them took the upgraded rental rate. and 52 of them, 52% took the upgraded protection plan.
Well, that's great. Trying to
To
figure
win.
who.
So overall, I thought, well,
I hear somebody in the background. I'm gonna try to mute them, but I can't tell who it is. Oh, well, who knows? Anyway, any particular vendors? Any new blood that kind of stands out?
yeah, there are a couple new software. Well, there's Cubby who's there with their software, and Monument, a new software coming out that I'm looking at. Some of the AI stuff on Notify and Sparebox was there with their Rafa tablet. Didn't see
Yeah.
anything new, but there were definitely some great things. I see Lynn Sykes is hopping on. I got to see Lynn and get a hug from Lynn, so that's always a benefit, right? And learn from there. So just again, networking, meeting people, catching up, and when you walk away, you feel energized again. So
Nice.
works for me.
Did you attend the roundtables?
I did. There were a couple good ones. Someone construction, someone acquisition, someone gates and gate systems and how to utilize gate systems. One of the things we did, I don't know if anybody's using Spider Door for their keypads, but one thing that we talked about in our session was if you have a Spider Door keypad and you come up and you're late, Spider Door has a product called Gate Collector. So if you punch your code in at your gate, you're past due, it'll automatically send you a text to your phone saying, hey, saw you're on the property, you're denied access for lack of payment. Click here, pay your bill to get in. Like that's pretty slick.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. No, get him right when get him at the pain point, right when they need to get in. That's the perfect way to get the collections going.
If they're on the property,
Yeah.
saw a couple people move jobs. Like Brian Stewart is now director of sales for Storage Defender. I saw Wilson Covington's back in the game now. Wilson Covington was an ops manager guy for a long time. He's now working with Jane Saul's group in
Yeah, I saw
Georgia.
that. Yeah.
So it's good to catch up with people.
Good.
Anthony, I missed you there, bud. Not listening.
You might be having
Sorry,
something
what?
else.
Yes.
Jim, sorry, I got my daughter talking to me. Were you talking to me? I apologize.
I just said miss you in Orlando, dude.
I know I'm like 5 hours away, but Skylar and I are going to ISS in April. So we'll be there with Tracky, a couple other vendors that we wanted and other builders. So
All right, make sure we connect and get a calendar invite to get a drink or something before it gets all filled up. So
I definitely do. I want to introduce, with colleagues, everybody that I absolutely love in this industry. I want to be able to introduce Skylar, who's the CEO of Your Way Storage. The fewer people that I love, people that I meet. I've taken, and I say, Jim, Mooney, thank you very much. A lot of the ideas and stuff that you've taken or that you've mentioned on here, I've actually taken over to Your Way and implemented them and having tremendous success with it. So thank you.
why we do it, bud?
Give us an example. I gotta put you on the spot. Like what?
So one of the things was they tend to, don't start at the minimum of your protection plan or your insurance. Start in the middle, because the only way that you can go down, the only way you can go if you start at the bottom. So like if you have a $9, $10, or $12 policy, I took it straight from Jim, implemented it with the rest of, especially our call center, because we mostly operate remote, and taught them that sales process. Now our average CPP went from a flat $9 to anywhere from 10 to 11 over the sites. Just several other things, that we've done. Our SLP, or so we call store local protection, running off a Hummingbird. We're sitting right at 85% penetration for facilities or across our 4 stores portfolio.
Nice.
Very cool.
So doing some stuff with auto pay, doing a lot of stuff in the background, and starting to learn Hummingbird. That's my deep dive, as well as working with Veritech and trying to implement our value pricing. One of the issues that I'm having is they're newer acquisitions, so not all the units are correct size. So I'm trying to work through that before we start really pushing on and getting those lists done and those lists ready to go. But I do see a lot of our competitors start to emulate and copy what we're doing. It's cool to see that, at least. So.
Well, Anthony, they say imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. So, and
I,
I will be very interested in watching your progress with Hummingbird because that's one of the softwares I'm interested in looking at, and I want to
Yeah.
talk to I mean, the sales guys give you their pitch, but and same thing, Jim, with you with Cubby. I really want to see how it's going. I know you guys both do a deep dive into the software, so I'm really curious as we learn from each other how these things progress.
it's very fortunate that we have a very good customer success rep. We just brought on Eva. We're really struggling with marketing, so a little shout out to Eva Chavez. I introduced her to Your Way as well. She's been doing a deep dive in what our Google ads and SEO presence and stuff like that. And one of the things that really caught my eye and stuff like that is she has a lot of experience with Hummingbird itself, Tenant Inc. So she's helping us do a deep dive in there and really turn our rentals and our CPP or our Google ads turned around. So
Cool.
yeah.
Anthony, our closing,
it's all in a reading, bro. You say we're learning from
Our-
each other, and you just take some of these little things that you take it and run with it, and it has an impact. So hey,
It's
That's
had
right.
a go ahead,
our-
Jim.
our
Mooney.
closing statement at our conference on Saturday, on our session on Wednesday was ask yourself what
You're breaking up, Jim.
more rentals do for your store or your portfolio. If you have 10 stores, what's that?
Sorry, you're just kind of breaking up. Aaron, that Wi-Fi sucks.
Just what would 3 more rentals do for your company? And that's a big thing. So
Yeah,
where you busy?
Right. I gotta show you something. That's like that was the perfect pitch for me here. Let me show you this. Just put it in chat. I'm not sure who that is in the background. I was gonna try to mute them, but I can't figure out who that is. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, you just talking about the extra rentals. I just made this in Lovable literally this morning. If you don't know what Lovable is, go play with this. Lovable.dev. Got an idea? Cool. Throw it in here. It'll spit it out. I made this in like 10 minutes. Just something easy, but I wanted something that kind of talks about different strategies that we all keep talking about. Your SEO and your reviews and website optimizations and call centers and things like that. So I put a bunch of ideas. So do me one favor. Don't have to do it right now, but go to that website, put it in chat, play with this. If I'm missing some strategies, let me know. Like, again, I did this in 10 minutes, but let me know if I miss some strategies. I'll throw it on here. But it's meant to be kind of looking at this, be like, oh, I could do that better, or I haven't implemented this, or it's kind of helping make you think, actually see it in black and white of different strategies. Pretty basic. But then over here, kind of what you're just saying, extra rentals. You said 3, let's just do 3. We'll make it easy. My average unit price is $100. Let's just say length of stay is 12 months for a year. We'll slap a 6% cap rate on that. There's your monthly revenue. There's your annual revenue over the length of stay. And then here's what makes the owner's ears perk up is the proper value impact. So you can just kind of play with it. If I get 5 extra rentals, sweet. So anyway, play with this. It's something I just thought it would be a nice visual to go through. And especially like when I'm talking with owners and we're talking about SEO, they're like, oh, SEO, that's an extra $300 a month. Like, well, yeah, an extra, okay, just get you 1 extra rental. Is that worth it? Oh, okay. You know what I mean? So just seeing that visual like that. So anyway, do me a favor, go to the website, play with it, give me some feedback, give me any other strategies here that might be missing. I'll throw it on there for everybody. Wish I had that ready for you. I would have given it to you for your presentation down there.
Yeah.
What else? What else is going on, people? Oh yeah, I just reading the comments. Squarefoot. I think I have it on there as aggregator. If not, I'll specify Squarefoot. Good idea.
I have a question for you guys. When you're buying a property, what's your timeline for switching the property management software? Do you do it right off the bat on the first day, or do you kind of phase it in
Day one.
day one? And do you
Or
because of the auto pay issue, do you ask the previous seller or the previous owner to like send out a notice as a heads up, or you just go for it?
What we've done in the past, Dominic, is when we buy a property and we know the software doesn't give us all the data, we will get the credit card or the credit card roll from the previous ownership. And then what we do with day one, when we send out the first letter, we send a second letter to anybody who's on auto pay saying, hey, you were on auto pay with the previous company for security reasons. Your credit card information didn't transfer over. We'd love for you to be on our auto pay program. Here's a link to go right to the website. You can log in, you can set yourself up, you're good to go. And that seems to work pretty well.
Okay. And then with gate access, the gate access they use isn't compatible with the system we use. You just do it day one as well, right? Obviously.
We've done it where we swapped out
Uh-oh. Not hearing you there, Jim.
So what we do, and sorry, I said, can you hear me now?
hey, Jim,
That's a little better, yeah.
Yeah.
Jim, I know everybody loves seeing your beautiful face, but I would recommend turn your camera off for your bandwidth.
There you go.
Try that.
Yeah, try
See
it.
if
What we
that'll.
do with the gate code, we make the gate code their phone number, and we send a letter out. We give them what their gate code is going to be, so that way when the new gate goes in, it works.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah, I literally just did this Wednesday for 2 locations that we were on Cubby and we switched over to Spider Door for access. Same thing. I just reissued last 4 digits of their phone number, sent it out via text and email. Just did it that way and haven't had an issue yet. So yeah, it's all about
Okay.
communication for sure.
Hey, Dominic,
Got
Dominic, do you already have existing facilities, or is kind of your first one? Where are you at?
We've got 4. This will be the 5th.
Okay.
Nice.
The only reason asking for that is because some people taking on their first facility or a new software, one of the biggest headaches is setting up all your templates and all the rest of that. So anybody who is looking at it, make sure that you're about 30 to 45 days, start signing up before you actually get possession of the facility so that you are ready to go from day one. That's one of the biggest mistakes that I made in my past is waiting till about 2 or 3 weeks, and then all of a sudden you're trying to push yourself to, does this template read right? Does it fully understandable for all customers? Everything else like that.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, if you are using any storable, like storable to storable, they do now have an option that you can pay and all of the auto pays will move over. So they can actually redirect all of the auto pay if you are using storable products from one person to the next.
You know, we just did a property software migration from Storable to Hummingbird, and we paid for that credit card migration, and boy, was it rough. It took about a month and a half to get them in. Definitely don't recommend.
Oh man, I had a good experience actually, but I did do it ahead of time, like 35 to 45 days ahead of time, filled out all the paperwork, and I've done it like 10 times. There was one time that I about had a cow because it didn't come over correctly, but I just contacted them like over and over and was like, hey, fix this, and you know, it was fixed in a day. But I can imagine if it was a headache for you, but out of 9 out of 10 times it came over correctly. So
Yeah, it was more like we kept waiting for them to arrive. So it got really confusing for our tenants whether it was coming over or if they had to re-enroll in auto pay. So by the time we actually got the encrypted data over, it was like everybody had signed up already. So that was just our experience. And it wasn't storable to storable. It was over to Hummingbird, but it was rough and we wouldn't do it again.
Gotta love the horror stories. I always swear. I mean, I'm just so pessimistic, but even when I hear, oh, it's so easy, that's where
It's
nothing. Nothing's ever easy when it comes to transitions. It's just not. Yeah.
Yeah.
Expect the worst, and you won't be surprised. That's
Yep.
kind of how it goes. But hey, at least you're
Hire
proving.
me as your transition specialist, then we'll get it done. Like, no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
We'll reach out to you next time. I gotta show you this, guys, too. I saw this. There it is. I saw this on Facebook the other day. We were talking about referrals and things like that. This has struck me. I'm like, that's kind of awesome. Check out this dude. Put up a billboard. Refer a friend, earn $100. So you just did it March 7th. I reached out to him like, all right, dude, you got to let me know if you actually even get a call or something off that or something. Then I started looking at it. I'm like, there should be a phone number or website on here, but I'm not gonna critique it too much. At least he was trying to do something. So I thought it was interesting. This shows you that we're trying to scrap for every rental we can get. Has anyone ever seen something like that before? Or any billboards in general?
I did have a client one time print about 4,000 pieces of paper and told me to go put them on everyone's mailbox. And it didn't even have the location address or anything about the location.
Why would you want business?
I
Yeah.
found, I used to do those for when I worked at a property management company. Any of our facilities that were off of a freeway or a highway that had a lot of traffic, they worked really well. And we didn't even have to have specials on them. We would just put billboards up with our names on them.
Really?
Mhm.
Huh.
As
Yeah.
long as it was close enough where you could
Right.
see our facility from the billboard as well.
Yeah. Huh. Interesting. I just haven't ever done that or really talked to anyone that has billboards before. So
They're expensive.
Yeah.
Very expensive. So there was a lot of I had to get rid of a bunch of them because the ones that weren't close enough, the facilities didn't bring in any traffic, didn't bring in any leads or anything like that. People literally have to correlate. Like the billboard is almost like a secondary sign for you that gives you a little bit better visibility on highways, is how you use it.
Yeah. So we have a few sites that have billboards actually on our site. We rent out, but I just know the pricing they get for it. I'm like, I can't, like, even though I got my little calculator on what it would bring in as far as lifetime value, I still have a hard time jumping through that and actually doing that billboard. So it depends on the area. See if we maybe get some sort of a discount or something like that. Right. I remember I took over a site in Smithfield, Utah one time. They're like, hey, we got billboards. And I was like, oh, all right, good luck. They already signed the deal and all that. And then I drove up to the locations and I was driving down the road. Their billboard was literally like a 3x4 kind of thing. It's like, yeah, I don't know if that classified as a billboard, but no one's even going to see that. And they were paying like $500 a month for like a 2-year contract. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, I just saw that, thought it was interesting. So I'll see if it actually worked, and we'll give it a few months. I'll have to report back. What else is going on?
I got one for you guys.
Yeah.
I want everybody's opinion. What is your guys' opinion on accepting packages for business customers?
Nope. That's a whole legal thing going down that road of accepting property. I ain't gonna touch it. I'm sure you can talk to Jeff or Scott Zucker, and they'll give you whole reasons why. But taking possession of someone's property, yeah. Then they start getting the warehousing aspect of it and things like that. No, I don't do it. That's me. I saw you shaking your head, Jim.
Yeah, no, I don't want any parts of it. It's too much of an issue. I saw one a long time ago where somebody signed for some packages for the customer. And then the customer claimed they weren't there, even though they picked them up from the office. It's not worth it.
I'm just curious. That's one thing that we got inquiry yesterday. We used to do it for, when I worked for Extra Space, we had what we called the hold harmless agreement because we had a lot of like pharmaceutical reps or and stuff like that we had daily deliveries from UPS or FedEx and put those packages in the unit as long as there was a hold harmless sign for it. So
Yeah. Well, that's just it. You just said that someone was there to sign for it, and most of your sites are remote. So what are you gonna do?
it's kind of, yeah, we got almost like a hybrid. So we do have like two facilities where they're full-time on-site managers, personnel because of the size of them.
Yeah.
I was just curious.
I don't know. To me, that seems like it just starts complicating things. That's an extra layer of something else to go wrong. But that's just me. I was going to ask you one more thing real quick. Oh, this got brought up while I was on a consulting call. I never thought of it before. Has anyone here, just because I don't have any experience with it, I'm not going to say it's wrong or right. Does anyone have any experience with the app Neighbor or use Neighbor? Okay. Supposedly it's a micro in your neighborhood kind of a thing of what's going on, and I guess
I
they
have
do.
an account with it,
Yeah.
but I only ever click on it
A
if
neighbor. I'm sorry. Next door. Next door is what it's called.
okay, because I was gonna say like neighbor. I mean, there's like lots of companies that use it around here, but I don't participate in it.
Yeah.
I don't know about next door though.
Neighbor is the
Right.
Airbnb of storage. I'm thinking next door is the app. It's kind of the local thing.
I checked it out once, Jim, in my development where I live,
Yeah.
and it just became a drama private session thing. It type, who's doing what. People are begging for jobs and for looking for stuff, and it's like, yeah, no, that's not worth it. So it's not. I don't think it's good for business.
Gotcha. No, I didn't have any education on it. They asked me like, "Oh, we're thinking of doing an ad on Nextdoor." I'm like, "What the hell's Nextdoor?" I had no idea. So,
Well, Eva's the marketing guru. Eva, what do you think?
It is literally a place for people to go to complain. And that's all it is. I don't think there's anybody going to next door and going, where's my next storage facility? Or, if you have a client who's on next door, they might be able to say something about you, but it's not going to be you going on there and saying like, hey, I'm so and so X, Y, and Z storage facility, come down here. And you also have to pay for that type of advertisement, which I don't think is worth it.
yeah, that's exactly it. You got to pay for it. So it's the app for Karens. Got it.
It is. I could like I have it for my local city, and I live in a very like small city surrounded by much bigger cities, so everyone's like, oh, Irvine's coming into our area. Like, what? What do you mean they're coming into our area? So it's pretty funny to see all of the little complaints, but it's cool too because like if you have a lost dog or lost pet, community comes together and really helps there. So it's more of a community thing, I think.
Gotcha. So if you're going to be spending your money, stick with Google AdWords and don't get confused. Got it.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know
Dude,
that Bing and Yahoo are both pushing really, really hard right now to do better with their ads. So I've been looking into that. I got recertified in Bing recently, and there is some traffic coming in from there. So it is something to check out if you guys are looking for new avenues for revenue, just because they are trying to regarner some of that traffic from Google, where, Google has like 90% of it, but they're starting to pick back up because of the way that the software is being reinstated. Like Microsoft Edge is constantly being put as your main browser whenever you restart your computer a lot of the time. So fun little fact there. It's nice to look into.
Jim, I would still say Sparefoot is a valuable tool. If you're not using it, look at it. I told somebody this week in Orlando that in 2024, my average cost per rental across my 30 stores was $131. $131 average cost per rental.
No.
I mean, and we got 1,000 rentals last year from them.
Well, let's add that to the list. All right. Going back to that lovable .dev thing I was telling you about. That's why I showed you this. It's kind of cool. Let's go over to the left. Whatever you type in, it'll update your app. There's no coding. No coders are out of a job. So I'm just going to put please. No, it's kind of small, but I'm just going to say, please add in spare foot. So marketing
But manage it.
course. What's that?
But you have to manage it.
Yes. So anyway, it's going to add that there. Say, please add in Spreadfoot as a marketing source or another online. So it should come under here. Give it a second. Anyway, this is just fun to play with, you know, me and AI stuff, but actually like start building apps and things. I don't know. I did this in 10 minutes. I can imagine if you actually sit down and spend time with these kind of things, what you can start building. Let's see, where did I put it? Dun, dun, dun. Oh, it's refreshing. Isn't this so exciting? How much was the, speaking of AI, as you were at the show, Jim, was the AI still the buzzword?
A lot, yes.
A lot of fluff, or is there something that's actually interesting?
You know, I would probably defer to you on that one because you're more versed in it than I am. But I would definitely think, again, it's a tool that's going to be used a lot. But you have to make sure you manage it correctly and have a right partnership with the right company. I know Swivel was there and you're using a lot of AI in their live chat on your websites. Storable is working on something similar. There's another one called I'm drawing a blank, but they do a lot of those things as well, the interactive stuff. So there's a lot coming. I think like everything else, it's proofs in the pudding and make sure it works for you, and just don't go out and spend the money. Oh, I gotta have it. Make sure you utilize it the right way.
Yeah, I think it was Unit AI is one other one I saw that were. I don't think they had a booth, but I know I saw them bouncing around and making some LinkedIn posts and things like that. So anyway, there's gonna be a lot of, I wouldn't say competition, but there's gonna be a lot of options, frankly, that are gonna be coming out fairly soon because of the way that technology is just changing, frankly, hour by hour. It's people, a lot of people are gonna be jumping on the bandwagon, let's put it that way, and being like, hey, check this out, look at this, look at this. So you're exactly right about just kind of taking a beat, taking a breath, don't just jump in, vet it, do some testing, that kind of stuff. And like with Swivel, like you're just talking about, they've been testing this stuff for a long time. So I'd definitely be more comfortable in knowing that, yeah, they've already taken their lumps and bruises, you know, building these kind of things rather than someone that's just starting from scratch. So it's going to be interesting. I'll keep an eye on things. Of course, you know me, I'll start playing with everything and testing it out, and I'll demo it here as well. So, and while I got you, Eve, I got to give you a quick shout out here on this. We're going to be launching this. I showed everyone a couple weeks ago, but on that, I just put it in chat on that network.3milestorage.com. I just put all the courses and stuff in there. Again, it's all free. Got this launching here soon. It's our little marketing workshop. And we got our own Eve on here doing a couple of sessions that she was nice enough to sit down and record. And I know that's your favorite thing, Eve, is doing those recordings. So
I didn't realize how terribly I sucked at it until you asked for
You're so
this.
self-critical. No, it was awesome.
I can't even watch them back. I'm so like, I'm just like, I hate it. But it has a lot of good information. I just feel like I don't sound like the smartest person sometimes when I'm trying to record things, because I'm like overthinking things and just like, here I go. Like, and I'm like, I'm afraid that like if I listen back to it, I'm gonna hear the cuts and I'm like, I can't do it. I can't do it.
Yeah. I watched, no, it was awesome. I cannot wait to actually get it out there and promote to everybody. So you did great. I know we're our own worst critic. All the stuff I've done for years, I've never listened to one thing back ever.
Oh, at least I'm not the only one then.
No, I can't.
Even though I hate listening to myself on recordings, I'm like, oh, really? No.
sometimes I'll catch something that I said, I'm like, oh, why did I say that? That word was wrong. And then I'm hypercritical. And then like the next time I'm on stage, I think about that word and then I hyper focus on it. And then all of a sudden I use that word again. And I'm like, oh gosh, it's a it's a spiral for me. But I got it out. It took me a little bit of time, but I did get it out. And then also just directly after that, I got the influenza B. So I have just been like dying. I don't know if anybody else has gotten this recent strand of whatever is going around, but if you see someone sick, run for the hills. Like just run as far as you can away from them.
Yeah, you've been sick for a while now, haven't you?
Yep. I had it turned into like upper respiratory infection. I have asthma as well, so I was having issues breathing. I had to get my inhaler. Almost went to the ER. It was a
Oh my
really good time.
gosh. You sound, at least you sound a little bit better now.
Yes, I am back to normal. I can actually say that back to normal. This week kind of like got me back into the groove of things, but my headspace, everything was just like completely filled with the sickness. I hated it.
Normal for you? Yeah.
I mean, how normal can I be though?
Exactly. No, I appreciate it. Yeah, you're doing that with do you remember the topics off the top of your head?
Remember one is specifically for helping you guys go in and take your ads. If you have a current marketing agency who's running your ads for you, it really just kind of takes you through the steps of what you need to ask your marketing agency. So you can see how that ad is doing. Just make sure that you're keeping it in checks and balances, because a lot of times they'll say, this is happening, I did this. And then it's like, well, okay, can you just show me these different portions of the ad so that I can make sure that those things are happening and verify the numbers are correct.
Yeah. Transparency. That's the one thing we really wanted to focus on, was just cool. You might be paying for the SEO stuff and your AdWords, but what results are you getting? What are they actually doing? So yeah, that was important to talk about.
The other the network 3 mile storage one didn't, for me, it did not come up. Oh, there you got a new one. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
I think it's a capitalized or some reason like that. I don't know. It should work out for you. All right. Yeah, that's got a bunch of things in there. And got Gabe Thane on there as well, doing one, and I'm doing some AI stuff, Google business profiles. I just wanted to have a resource there that people could, rather than just doing, nothing wrong with webinars and doing it, those are awesome, but I wanted to have a resource where people could go back to and use it when they need. They may not need it right now. Next month, they're like, oh yeah, go back and it'll be there for you. So I just wanted to have a nice hub for not just my stuff, your stuff. I got some vendors doing some recordings with me, so it's almost like a virtual booth kind of a thing where they can go on and, like, if I can come up to your booth and talk to you about your product, cool. We're gonna record that and have that there as a resource with people. So the ones that can't travel, to these kind of places for the Orlando or Vegas, they'll have a resource there for them. It's kind of funny. Some people I've been talking to, they're like, even though they're vendors and they're trying to get business, they've never really focused on their message or what they're actually selling. And so I've been going through some of these process with some of these vendors, and it's kind of a fun process, kind of compacting exactly what they sell and putting a video together with them. So I've kind of done some stuff like that in the past with some vendor spotlights, but now we're trying to get it all in one place for everybody. So it's a fun little side project. It's taken forever, but takes forever because I have a day job. I just do this on the side for a little bit here and there. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. All right, what else we got? We've got about 20 minutes left. Whoa. Any other fun stories from the show, Jim? Did you go to any of the presentations?
I did. I did Jeff Greenberger's. I sat in on the legal. I always, they always say the legal power hour last with usually it's Scott and Carlos.
Yeah.
This time it was Scott and Jeff Dougherty. But it's just, when you listen to these guys talk about some of the legal stuff and anybody who's not a member of your state association, please join them, because Joe and his team do such a good job. They're fighting laws right now and making things better for every association, every state. Like right now, they're trying to fight a law in one of the states about, capping rate increases and stuff like that. And they just beat one in somewhere about adding sales tax. So if you're not a member of your local state association, please join it. Please follow it, because a lot of times they need your help to solicit your local representative to support the bills they're trying to pass through. So it's very, very important for everybody. And Joe made a really good point this morning that, they're hoping, somebody made a comment hoping that the big guys get their asses kicked or whatever for all the stuff they've been doing with rates and stuff like that. And Joe said that's not a good thing for our industry. It's going to affect us all down the road. So we don't want that, even though we might like to see it. It's not something we want to do. We want to make sure we're doing things the best way possible, supporting our legislation, supporting all those teams, and getting those guys working the right way. And I know they're working right now, I think it's in 30 states, that if you don't have a signed lease, sometimes it's hard to do things. They're working on legislation now that you'll be able to send a letter to the person, say basically, hey, here's the change to the lease, effective this date, it's there, you're done and good and go. So, and Scott and all, actually, ironically, Jim, we were talking about in our session, have you had your lease looked at in the last year? And, everybody's hands up, I said, guys, with all those laws changing, and Dave Cooper made a point that they did theirs, and in one of their states, I forget which one he said, they had to make 18 corrections to their lease.
Damn.
Because things had changed that much. So if you're not having your leases looked at on a regular basis, if they're not being reviewed by the lawyer, don't borrow your friends, or don't go rent a unit somewhere else and grab their lease. Make sure you spend the money to get the lease taken care of. That was another big takeaway. That's always something in my forefront when we speak and talk. Consulting work has been going good with that. But it's just, Jim, you and I mean, how many stores do you think you and I have shopped in the last year?
Year?
Yeah.
Well, me personally, over the phone, easily 100. In person, probably under 50.
I'm probably
You're more than me.
pushing, I'm probably pushing 500 plus, right?
Yeah.
And it's amazing. I actually made a bet with an owner who's in Rhode Island. I called all 8 of his stores and I said, I guarantee you, I said, give me a number, how many are going to take my name? He goes, oh, I bet half. I said, I bet not half. So he had 8 stores. I called the 8 stores. I said, you owe me a drink, because not a single one of his managers took my name or number.
Yeah. Sales 101. Nope.
Yeah.
Better. Sorry, I'm a little sidetracked. I'm looking at Greg and Julie Williams. Looks like it's a police interrogation going on. Sorry, just had to bust you. All right, we're all good. Is anyone? I forgot to ask. Is anyone new that hasn't been on here before? If you got to raise your hand and say hi and what you do in the storage industry. Michael, yeah, Michael, go ahead.
I'm new. I saw the email. I thought I'd check it out. And we have four main facilities. I got a couple small ones too that are just kind of some infill with a kiosk that it kind of supplements for some office buildings we have.
Nice. Where are you located?
Colorado Springs.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I love Colorado. Try to get back to Denver as much as I can. So my whole family's from a small town called Crested Butte in Gunnison, Colorado.
Oh yeah. I'm very familiar with that.
Yeah.
Jim, did you ever go to the Mangy Moose Lodge at Crested Butte Mountain?
I haven't.
I was there years ago skiing, and
Yeah.
that was some of the best food I had ever.
Huh. Yeah, I haven't been there in a long time. That was my family vacation every single year. We're going to Gunny. We're going to Crested Butte. That's how we did every year until I was, left the house.
Beautiful area.
Oh yeah, it's crazy how it's everything gets commercialized and gets bigger. It's just how things go. But yeah, I remember back in the day, it was just there's small little towns. That's how it goes. How's business going for you?
It's been going good. We've had some of our facilities lose some occupancy over the last couple of years. some was because of some extraneous flood issues.
Yeah.
So that had some impact, but then been hard to get some of that back up. We've been working on that. So just
Good.
looking for ways that I liked the idea of the refer someone for $100 to get because we have some on the highway that it would be well worth it.
Oh, perfect.
That's
Well,
enough that would get someone's attention.
yeah.
Just
Well,
don't forget the phone number.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, I was gonna say also, Michael, you should try to do some like internal like cement stickers that say the same referral stuff. Anybody who's walking around, they'll see those $100 referrals while they're walking around and be able to kind of take a picture of that and run with it.
Okay, on the property.
Yeah, on the property.
Okay, thank you.
You want to hear a horror story, Jim's?
those are my favorite.
So I just got a new client. They used to be a client of mine a long, long time ago. And you know, we had to part ways, and then recently they've come back over, but they had an extra space come into their area, brand new lease up extra space. And they were at 95% occupied when this was being built, while it was being put in place. As soon as they opened their doors, they lost 45% of their occupancy down to 55%.
Because people were leaving and they just didn't have the rentals coming in to replenish.
It's a very, very like sparse area in Philadelphia. It's hard to get them rentals to begin with because of the area they're in. So the extra
What part of
space is
Philly?
nicer. Here, Spring Gardens.
Yeah, I know
You know
the
the
area
area?
well. Oh, trust
Them
me.
knows it. Them knows it. Yeah.
Actually, Eva, I was just talking to Ken Finley from Safeguard. They got a store in Philly on Tacony Street, right by the bridge, which is not, whatever. He said that is one of his worst performing stores. That market is just dried up for him. Probably because there's so many units in the area and everybody's so competitive, and you have a lot of REITs there. So they're all playing that game. So I had somebody say, I'm thinking about building in Philly. I said, I wouldn't, because just don't.
Just don't. Every time I've been working in Philly for like going on and off like 4 years. That's one of my pretty like prominent clientele bases. Florida's another one. And both markets have been very, very hard this past year.
We'll have to connect offline, because my brother owns some Philly hoagie and cheesesteak stores in Philadelphia. Next time you're back there, I'll send you over there.
Oh yeah. I love cheesesteak, so don't tempt me with a good time.
Well, so that's the horror story, but I mean, what's the punchline here? What can you tell them?
I wish I had more. Next week I'll tell you what's going on, because it's literally signing the contract today.
No, but I just mean in
Everything.
general. I mean, in general, what kind of strategies do you do to try to combat that?
So I always I look at, they're currently being run by somebody else. So I go through their marketing efforts, look at everything. The main thing for me is a lot of the times when these big REITs come into place, a lot of like people are like, let's put a bunch of budget on it. Let's get, into the thousands. So I go back and I kind of readjust that down. So I generally spend my budgets from like $300 to $600 max. So immediately cost savings there. I also look at the amount per click that they're looking at. So I make sure that they're not frivolously spending money, brand money, competitor money, anything that's just going to bring somebody in who's not necessarily your like 90% sure that that's going to be a customer, and then also taking all of my remarketing, all of my data that's in analytics, and implementing that back into our ads campaign, so that we're not trying to re-advertise to current customers or customers who already know who we are. That's a big thing, because a lot of people are wasting money on if your phone number is at the top of the page in an ad, and it's a current customer sees that, the first thing they're going to do is click on that ad and waste your dollar bills to pay their bill. You already have that money coming in. So I try to limit that as much as possible. And I think that's the biggest waste of marketing effort currently. So that's the highlight, that no matter what, whenever I go into an account, I generally find space to save money immediately.
Hey, Eva, I'm going to throw my operational hat on here, and I'm going to ask you to analyze and look at their lead funnel system, because I would bet money, I'll bet you Philly cheesesteak. Next time we're together, I'll get you one. That they're getting leads that are coming in, and they're either not logging them in or they're not following up with them.
Yeah, that's another big one. I absolutely talk to my clients about that. It's like I can bring the horse to the trough. If there's water in the trough, then we can get them to drink, but it has to be clean. It has to be followed up on. It has to be checked in on. It can't just be like a trough that has like hay in it and the horse is just gonna walk away because they're they're not gonna like it. It's like that's not what they wanted.
Now I mean, your job
But-
is obviously to drive the leads and get them to their websites.
Yeah.
You ever get much more granular as far as what we all
I'm
give
all the way, I'm
time?
generally all the way in the systems. I have my customers give me everything because I'm that type of person because I've started off property management and moved into the tech side of things. So I'm always like looking at management summaries, looking at their conversion rate, looking at their actually their move outs as well. So I talk to them about that. Like, let's talk about what's going on with your move outs because at the end of the day, if I'm bringing in 10 move-ins, but you've got 15, 20 move outs, there's another problem. It's not necessarily your lead input at that point. So we talk about, is it because the managers aren't trying to keep those clients? Is there anything that we can do? Like, hey, could we offer them a 10% discount to stay? Or are they just leaving because they don't need storage in general? And finding out those types of things. But I think I am a little bit more hands-on than most marketing people, and that's just because it's a personal preference to do so that I know that what I'm doing is actually driving leads.
The big
So
question,
Mhm.
really quick. So the big question really is, at least I'm getting involved from these owners, is cool, they go on my website, but they're looking at, perfect example, you just talk like Extra Space coming in and doing the fire sales and that race to the bottom because they know they can get them in and jack them up a month 3. Most owners I talk with don't want to play that game. They just don't want to. I'm still stuck. I still go back and forth on site by site. Any magic bullets that you've been finding that's working?
So Eva, question for you before we change subjects. Did the owner or did you or are you going to, as the marketing person, go back to everybody who vacated and do an exit survey to find out why they left?
I should tell them to do that. I feel like that's a huge thing that a lot of my clients need to go in and just have their managers do at the facility level and have an answer to that. A lot of the times I have been seeing that and I always kind of feel like this is the like standard practice for the manager at the facility, unless they're really invested in making their leads true, is that they just say they don't need storage anymore, even if they don't ask.
Well, it's funny. One of the things in our session when talking about inquiries and people, they call them, hey, I found one somewhere else. Most
Mhm.
people don't ask, but we've trained our managers say, hey, Eva, I'm really happy you found a location to take care of you. But to help us get better what we do, why didn't you pick us this time? And when you ask that way, you can get some really positive feedback. It could be your gates, it could be your hours, it could be your access, it could be anything. Or it could be you got a new competitor down the street that you didn't know about. Same thing with the exit survey. We've taken our exit survey. When somebody's moving out, we send them intent to vacate for site. Like we've embedded the exit survey in there. The 3 questions. Why are you leaving? Would you rent from us again? And yes or no? If the answer is no, we want to know why. And that gets plugged back into SiteLink. So when I run reports, I can filter all that data. And it's really interesting when you start doing those. But if they're not asking for when they're leaving, why you leaving, get them to fill out the exit survey, you can get really good data on that. And like you said, you might, hey, I'm going down the street, Extra Space gave me this. It's like, we rolled out loyalty programs. You pay 3 months, you get 4%. You pay 6 months, you get 6%. There's things you can do as an operator to save yourself. But again, we all know people are going to move out. They're not there forever. But as
Right.
Jim said, keep the funnel filled and keep them going through there. But I would bet money that they're not following up on leads. They're not asking the right questions, and they're just letting people go. And okay, they're gone. But if you ask that question, I think if anybody, if I asked you that question, even when you didn't rent for me, and I said, hey, help us get better what we do, why didn't you pick us? Would you be honest and tell us? Probably. But you
Yeah,
don't
no.
know unless you ask the question.
I have just recently moved from another one mom and pop facility to another mom and pop facility, and they called me after the fact, after I moved out, and they did do the exit survey. And they asked me, why is it that you ended up leaving? And I said, because where you placed me in the facility was very, very far back, and I wanted to be able to access my unit more coming in the next year. So I moved to a facility that gave me almost the same price as you guys, but had me on the first floor and had me have a drive-up unit. And they were like, oh, we had a drive-up unit, the same price. Too late. I'm already moved. Sorry. Like you guys could have, I would have moved to another unit. Yeah. If you guys had offered me the same price on that other unit or even a discount, it would have been easier for me. But that was something when I called in and I said I was going to be exiting, nobody asked me any questions.
Well, that was a question I was going to say to you, because we've actually trained our stores when we buy new stores. We're very, very diligent on. We require a 14-day, notice to move for vacate. We do pretty well getting it, and that gives us an opportunity to save that. A lot of companies don't, do anything with intent to vacate or even use an intent to vacate. And I think that's an opportunity that you can save some things or kind of forecast what's coming on, because especially if you're full. And you got 4 people moving out of a 10 by 20 and you got people looking for it. I can say, hey, Jim, I know you want that on the first. I got somebody scheduled out the last day of the month. I mean, I can keep you on the list if it becomes available. You'd be my first person. So that way they know we're working with them. But using your tools you have, using your software to the best potential and just not, closing your eyes and throwing a dart at the dartboard and say, when you ask people why do vacancies, and they say, I don't know. I cringe at that, because as an operator, and I think I'm a pretty good one, training people to ask the right questions is critical.
Yeah, it is super critical. I'm like, at this point, you should be begging your customers to stay. give them something, because I'm happy to report that the numbers are going up in March. So we are seeing an increase across everything. I'm seeing better rentals, better reservations, lead generation, phone calls are coming in with actual inquiries. February petered out a little bit, but January was good. So it's like we're coming back into a little bit of normal. So that's good.
You realize how cold it was in Philadelphia in February? It was a cold, cold, cold winter.
Yeah.
They don't want to move. We're now March and April. You're going to start seeing stuff.
Yeah. I'm like, I feel like I came in perfect seasonally for that Philadelphia location.
Makes you look good coming into spring.
They know me already. So they're like, they tested out the waters for the past 2 years and they had to come back. So
Look, and you even got the green hair for the Eagles.
exactly. Philadelphia Eagles, anything green, I'm involved in. I love green, so.
Well, they got to change the red for the Phillies.
Maybe I'll put a little bit. I'll put a little over here in the back. Just a streak. Red's not my color. It doesn't fit my skin, so.
Seeing we're at the top of the hour, we'll have a little cliffhanger. That's something I want to delve into next time, is really the pricing. Once people come to your website, how are we competing against these big boys that are just doing these fire sales? And we all know the tricks they're playing. They're giving away and then jacking them up on month 3. And so many owners just don't want to play that game. So I'll do some homework. I'll see if I can find some, websites or people that are competing directly against that, kind of what they're doing, their philosophy. Same thing with everybody here. If you kind of what you're doing, what you're seeing even in different markets, that kind of thing. I think it'd be very valuable just to see that, because that's scary, in some areas. Like you just said, they're losing occupancy, and I'm seeing it more in these smaller and smaller markets that they're penetrating in and taking a big bite out of some of these smaller mom and pop places. So that's something we definitely should dedicate some more time, and we'll do that.
Next 2 weeks, I think everyone should take a little homework and try to find a website that would integrate with their software that's better than the current website that they're using. Not you, Jim Mooney. I know that you love who you're with.
Ava, I can tell you this week I evaluated 3 different softwares.
Okay, perfect. Bring it to the table.
I have calls on Wednesday next week with 2 of them for deep dive. So I will keep you all posted on what I see. Yes, I do love where I'm at. I do love who I work with. However, if there's something better coming down the road, I want to be part of it. So
Absolutely.
That's what we're here for. We're always trying to improve on ourselves, our operation. That's why we're doing this. So again, we'll end it with thank you again for everyone taking the time and jumping on this. Jim, thank you for doing this at the airport. I appreciate it. That's dedication. That's
sorry
awesome.
for the volume. So
Oh, you're good. So again, thank you so much, guys. We'll wrap it up. We'll see you in 2 weeks.
thanks.
Bye, guys.
Take care.